Dear friends, this is episode number 68. In the last episode, while recording, I committed a mistake. I did not use the mic, collar mic, and it was on the table. Therefore, the audio is of to some extent poor quality. I am sorry, I apologize. In the last episode, I mentioned about two or more suits tried together and an appeal is filed against one only. What will happen to the appeal pending? I will also said that I said that I will cite some of the decisions on that point. Please note down. AER 1993 Supreme Court 1202 Premier Tyres Limited versus Kerala State Road Transport Corporation. Two suits were tried together and an appeal was filed only against one. Common issues. And it was held, in the words of the Supreme Court, where an appeal arising out of connected suit is dismissed on merits, the other cannot be heard and has to be dismissed. Where no appeal is filed, as in the case from the decree in the connected suit, it has the same effect of non-filing of appeal against the judgment or decree. Thus, the finality of finding recorded in the connected suit due to non-filing of appeal precludes the court from proceeding with the appeal in another suit. And several decisions have been followed, and 1953 Supreme Court 419 was distinguished. I will cite those decisions also. AER 1953 Supreme Court 419 Narhari and others versus Shankar and others. Narhari and others versus Shankar and others. In this decision, there was one observation which reads as follows. Even when there are two suits, it has been held that a decision given simultaneously cannot be a decision in a former suit. But that was distinguished by the Supreme Court in AER 1993 Supreme Court 1202. That observation in 1953 Supreme Court 419 was distinguished. And therefore, in view of 93 Supreme Court, it has to be taken that that view, particular view taken by 1953 may not be good law. Then a Constitution Bench decision, AER 1962 Supreme Court 338 Badri Narayan Singh versus Kamdev Prasad, Kamdeo, Kamdev Prasad Singh and another. See the bench: Justice Gajendra Gadkar, Justice Subbarao, Justice Hidayatullah, Justice Shah and Justice Raghubar Dayal. A bench consisting of top judges of the Supreme Court. That was an election case. Complicated facts are there. Therefore, I am not spending time on it now, because even if I state those facts, it will take some time to fully comprehend it. There, AER 1953 Supreme Court 419 was distinguished, holding in the following words: that case is distinguishable on facts and is with respect to the interpretation of section 11 of the Code of Civil Procedure. I do not think that that is a correct distinction. Anyhow, next decision, AER 1966 Supreme Court 1332. Shiodan Singh versus DARYAO Kunwar, Daryao Kunwar. 4 judges. Where the trial court has decided 2 suits having common issues on the merits, and there are 2 appeals therefrom, and one of them is dismissed on some preliminary ground like limitation or default in printing, with the result that the trial court's decision stands confirmed. The decision of the appeal court will be res judicata, and the appeal court must be deemed to have heard and finally decided the matter. In such a case, the result of the decision of the appeal court is to confirm the decision of the trial court given on merits. And if that is so, the decision of the appeal court will be res judicata. Therefore, the other appeal is not maintainable. 2 appeals were filed. One appeal was dismissed on some preliminary ground, either for default or there is a default in printing, or it is barred by limitation, with the result that so far as that appeal is concerned, the decision of the trial court has been confirmed. What happens? That constitutes a decision in a former suit. And if that is so, the second suit is barred. That means the appeal is barred. Appeal is a continuation of the suit. Then next, AER 1974 Supreme Court 1320. There a slight distinction was made on facts. It was not a case of common issues being involved, and therefore it was held that the non-filing of appeal would not constitute res judicata. Then 1991 1 Kerala Law Journal 61, Raghavan Nambiar versus Sumati Amma. Raghavan Nambiar versus Sumati Amma. Then please note also some of the Kerala High Court decisions. 2010, 3 Kerala High Court cases, 5, 6, 4. Avira Joseph versus Varghese Mathai and others. Then 2010-4 Kerala Law Times 538, Thomas and others versus Dr. Sudha and others. Then 2012 2 Kerala High Court cases, KHC 669, Chandramati versus Arundhati and another. And one more decision. 2019 two Kerala High Court cases. 2019 two Kerala High Court cases. 160. Matthew and others versus Elikutty and others. Several points have been decided. There, paragraph 28. Now, this is the point. Two suits can be consolidated together where the parties are common, issues are common, common questions may arise. If the two suits are tried separately, there is a likelihood of conflicting decisions being taken. The parties would be put to great prejudice because the evidence may be common. The case may be tried in one court. Case may be a second suit may be tried either in the same court or in another court. All these things, if both the suits are in two different courts, a transfer is necessary and consolidation is necessary. Suit can be transferred. We have seen 24, section 24, 23, 24 of CPC, transfer of suits. So, one suit between the same parties is filed in a court and another suit between the same parties on the same issue, same subject matter, common issues involved, that is filed in B court. What is to be done to have a joint trial? Joint trial can be had, no problem, that is section 151. But which court will do it? That if these two courts are subordinate to the same district court, an application for transfer of one suit to the other can be made to the district court. The district court will pass appropriate orders transferring either suit from A court to be transferred to B or from B court to be transferred to A court. Whatever it is, then consolidation is possible. The provision for transfer. Power to transfer suits. It starts from section 22, 23, 24, and then power of Supreme Court 25. These are the provisions for transfer. So, if suppose A court and B court within the same jurisdiction of the same district court, an application can be filed before the district court and one of the suits can be transferred from one court to the other, and those two suits can be consolidated together and tried together. In such a case, two appeals are necessary, and if only one appeal is filed, yesterday I gave the example, A filed a suit against B, B filed a suit against A, same subject matter, same issue, same property, same parties. And the defeated party filed appeal against only one, the other appeal, no appeal filed against other suit, other decree. That decree will constitute as res judicata, as the decision in a former suit, and therefore the appeal will not be maintainable. It will be barred by res judicata. It will not be decided on the merits thereafter. So, therefore, whenever two or more suits are tried together, care should be taken to see whether two appeals should be filed. Otherwise, this difficulty may arise. Now we go to another question. What is merger? It's a difficult, to some extent, difficult question sometimes to be decided. See what happens, a trial court decision is there. It was taken up in appeal. The appellate court decides the appeal on the merits. Then it is said that the decision of the trial court merges in the decision of the appellate court. merges in the decision of the appellate court. Suppose the suit is filed with a high valuation and therefore it is filed in the subordinate judges court, that is senior division officers court, and the suit is decided. An appeal is filed to the high court. Sometimes it may so happen, very rarely, the suit was decreed and the appeal is filed by the defendant. From the date of decree of the trial court, it took more than 12 years to dispose of the appeal. And that appeal was dismissed for default lastly at the end of 12 years. What will happen to the execution petition? Plaintiff has got a decree for 25 lakhs. The appeal was filed by the defendant before the High Court. Appeal was pending. If the appeal, whether it is confirmed, varied or modified, whatever it is, time for execution begins to run from the date of appellate decree because it merges in the appellate decree. It merges in the appellate decree. So the limitation starts to run from that date. And the appeal was pending here. 12 years was over just a few days ago. What can the very clever appellate's lawyer do? He will not appear. The appeal will be dismissed for default. If it is a dismissal for default, it is not a decree. Definition of decree does not says that dismissal for default is not. If there is no such decree, there is no merger. So for execution, which is a starting point of limitation, the date of trial court decree, 12 years over. Can it be executed? It cannot be executed. So whenever an appeal is there, if there is a stay, all right. During the pendency of the stay or injunction, that period will be excluded under the Limitation Act. So in the same instance I have given, it is decreed for 25 lakhs. Appellate court stays the execution. All right, that is enough. Then time begins to run from the date when the stay was over. From that date onwards, the limitation starts. But there was no stay petition at all. It was pending in the High Court for more than 12 years. And it was disposed of on merits. Limitation starts from that date because there is a merger. If it is a dismissal for default, there is no merger. Therefore, the limitation begins to run from the date of the trial court decree. So, whenever there is an appeal and there is no stay or injunction preventing execution, the lawyers for the decree holders should be careful. If there is no stay, there is nothing wrong in filing an execution petition. File an execution petition, let it be there. Then what is the problem? Otherwise, watch and see. See that the execution petition is filed within time. 12 years, I said, there are some cases where it is only 3 years. For example, a mandatory injunction. Period of limitation is only 3 years under the Limitation Act. We will verify. Now itself, 136 article for execution of any decree other than a decree granting a mandatory injunction or order of any civil court, 12 years. Article 135 for enforcement of a decree granting mandatory injunction, 3 years. So a decree granting a mandatory injunction was passed by the trial court. The defendant files an appeal. There is no stay. there is no stay, limitation will stop to run. There is no stay. Appeal was disposed of after 4 years. If it is a disposal on the merits, then there is a merger. Time for execution begins to run from that date. If it is dismissed for default by the appellate court, then there is no decree, there is no merger. Therefore, time for execution begins to start from the date of the trial court decree. That danger is there. Therefore, the lawyers have to be very careful. When there is an appeal and there is a stay continues, you need not worry. Decree holder's lawyer need not worry. If there is no stay, see that the execution petition is filed within time. Otherwise, if the appellate lawyer is a very clever lawyer, once the period of limitation is over, he will not argue it on merits. He will see that it is dismissed for default, in which case the other side, even though he got a decree from the trial court, it becomes useless. This trap is there. These are all I said that this is strictly speaking does not come under Order 41. I said about these things, these are the practical things which may sometimes cause difficulties, sometimes it will be a benefit, but anyhow, it should not go unnoticed. We must be aware of it. Doctrine of merger. Decree of the lower court merges in the decree of the superior court. Please see the following decisions. AER 1954 Supreme Court 1380. AER 1987 Supreme Court 1304. AER 1966 Supreme Court 1332. Two 2005 1 Kerala Law Times 198 within brackets SC Supreme Court judgment. Then AER 1956 Supreme Court 367 Melaram versus CIT. I said about the merger, and sometimes the parties, the decree holder may sometimes be duped. Exactly it happened in one case. I had occasion to decide. I tried my best to help the decree holder, but I was helpless. Helpless. 2012-3 Kerala Law Journal 47. It may be in other journals also, corresponding citations you may find out. I will give the name of the case. Neela Chinna, N-E-E-L-A, Chinna, C-H-I-N-N-A versus Gangadharan Pillai. Then, doctrine of merger is not a doctrine of rigid and universal application. It is not a rigid and universal application. AER 1967 Supreme Court 681. Then there is a decision of the Supreme Court, AER 2004 Supreme Court 1596. Shyam Sundar versus so and so. that was a delay condonation petition was dismissed, and it was held by the Supreme Court that there is merger. See that judgment, slight different view. So this is a principle of merger. I have given the citations. We discussed the other point, two appeals, whether necessary, etc. We will start from rule 1 of order 41 in the next episode. Thank you.